A $100 bill is more valuable, but a $2 bill is more memorable. And that little sentence right there may be the whole problem with your brand. Because most entrepreneurs are trying to look like the $100 bill. You're looking like you want to be more polished, more successful, more impressive, more premium, more buttoned up, more, look at me, I've got a ring light and a Canva template, which is great. It's wonderful. But now what? Because here's the truth. People don't remember the person who looks like everyone else with a better font and prettier colors. They remember the person who gives them something to hold on to. And for me, it started with my grandmother. In the Jewish tradition, there's something called shaliach mitzvah. When someone travels, you give them money. It's protection for the journey. Then when they arrive, they give it to someone in need. It's this beautiful idea. You're going somewhere new and you're being protected. And then when you arrive, the first thing you do is think about someone else. Usually, people give $1, right? Well, my grandmother did not do the usual. She gave $2 bills. Because, of course, she did, right? She was not at all a $1 bill woman. She was the star. She was the queen. She was the person who walked into a room, and the room knew. So I grew up with $2 bills. And here's what I noticed. When you hand someone a $2 bill, something happens. You pause. You look at it. You smile. Just like this. Oh, look at that pretty one. Some people act like you just handed them Monopoly money. And the funniest part, you don't spend it. Do you know that a $100 bill can buy 50 times more than a $2 bill? But you spend the $100 bill, right? You kind of forget it. You don't call your friend and say, guess what? I just used a $100 bill at Target. But a $2 bill, if you use it at Target, they'll look at it. They'll go, wow. And they'll probably tell you a story about a $2 bill. That thing gets saved. It goes in a drawer. It goes in a wallet and a piggy bank. I have mine in my wallet. I've got mine hanging up here. Or maybe a weird little memory museum next to a movie ticket from 1998 and a key you no longer know what it unlocks. We all know you have those keys, because I do. Well, why? Why do you hold on to it? Because it's different. It's not better. It's different. And that's the whole game. And that's where most people get branding wrong. They think the goal is to prove they're better. A better coach, a better consultant, maybe even a better speaker. What about a better founder? Oh, I got one. A better investor. A better expert. But better is a race with no finish line. You say you are better, the other person says they are better. Then someone else shows up with better lighting, better testimonials, better eyebrows, and a podcast mic the size of a toddler. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Now what? Now you're back in the pile, and that's the problem. You're not losing because you are bad. You're losing because people don't know what to remember. They hear your offer. They like you. They respect you. They may even sound, that sounds really good. Which feels nice, right? It gives your ego a tiny little snack. But then they walk away and cannot explain what makes you different. And that's not a content problem. It's not an algorithm problem. It's definitely not a post more reels problem. It's a positioning problem. You're still presenting yourself like one more dollar bill in a sea of ones. It's the same shape. It's the same size, the same language. It's the same promise. It's the same. It's the same. I help overwhelmed entrepreneurs scale their business with clarity and confidence. Now, I'm not saying that's bad, right? I'm saying no one is tattooing that on their soul or their forehead. You need something people can carry. You need a line, right? You need a story. You need a reason, a strange little handle their brain can grab. And that's what the $2 bill brand is about. It's not about being flashy. It's not about being louder. It's not about buying a purple suit and yelling on LinkedIn like you drank 6 espressos and lost a bet. I mean, I did buy a purple suit at one point. It's about finding the thing that's already true about you and naming it in a way people can remember. Because your difference is probably not hidden in some magical business vault guarded by a dragon. It's probably sitting right in front of you, in your story, in your background, in the thing clients always thank you for, in that weird way you solve problems, and in the reason people call you and not the other person, in the moment from your life that explains your work better than any bio ever could. For me, I spent more than 20 years in television. My job was to find what made a show impossible to ignore, what made a person impossible to ignore, what you had to tell somebody else about that show so they get to be watching that show. You had one shot, I had one shot, one title, one premise, one character, one reason someone would stop scrolling through hundreds of options and say, wait, what is that? Now I do that with people, because you're not that different from a show. Now, I know that sounds a bit weird, but stay with me, because a show needs a hook. And so do you. A show needs characters people care about. So do you. A show needs a reason to come back. And so do you. A show needs a sentence people can repeat. So do you. If they cannot repeat you, they cannot refer you. That's the whole thing. If someone cannot explain why you're different, they'll either forget you or compare you. And comparison, that's where price gets ugly. Because when you sound like everyone else, the buyer uses the only thing they can compare, which is cost. That's how smart experts end up competing on price when they should be competing on memory. And that's why I say, don't be the best, be the only. The best is crowded. The only has room. The best gets compared to. The only gets remembered. The best needs proof. The only creates a category. And I want you to hear this clearly. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to become a cartoon version of yourself. You don't need to pretend you're wilder, louder, funnier, richer, or more successful than you are. Please do not do that. We have enough people on the internet doing business cosplay. Thank you, AI. You need to become more precise, though, with your message, with who you are. You need to be more honest. You need to be more specific. You need to be more you. And that is what makes the $2 bill work. The $2 bill, it's still money, still has value, but it's got a story. It's got a pause built into it. It makes people look twice, and that's what your brand needs to do. Your brand should make the right person stop and go, oh, that's different. Not because you screamed, because you finally gave them something clear enough to remember. So here's my question to you. When people talk about you when you're not in the room, what do they say? Not what do you hope they say, not what does your website say, not what did your bio say if you rewrote it for the 47th time while eating pretzels over your keyboard. What do people actually remember? If you don't know, that's the work. Before you post again, ask yourself, what am I trying to be remembered for? What do I say that no one else says quite like me? What story explains why I see the world this way? What sentence would I want someone to repeat after meeting me once? That's where your brand starts. Don't start with colors. I know, you're probably looking at another logo. You got a content calendar that looks like it was built by a spreadsheet wearing khakis with memory. Because a brand is not what you say once. It's what people remember later. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, Brad, wonderful, now what? Go to findyouronly.app. That's findyouronly.app, 8 questions under 8 minutes. And the new 2.0 version is live. Still somewhat tinkering with, but it's live. It's free, 8 questions, and it takes under 8 minutes. It's going to help you pull the clues out of your head and start finding the sentence that makes you easier to remember. Because your brand is being built either way. Every post, every conversation you have, every pitch, every conversation. Every time someone says, so, what do you do? And the only question is whether you're giving them something worth repeating. I'm telling you, don't be the best. Be the only. Be the $2 bill.